Jeff Nippard, he knows how to make a good program. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you're having an awesome week, of course. And if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And today I have another review for you. It is Jeff Nippard's high-frequency total body program, the 5-day-a-week option. There's actually two options, a 4-day-a-week and a 5-day-a-week. I chose the 5-day-a-week just to see what it's all about. So let's get into it. Now, this review overall is actually going to be relatively short, and that's because a lot of what he includes in this program, he's included in the other programs that I reviewed before. All the good stuff that I really like, from the exercise substitution list to exercise demonstrations to an FAQ section to explaining what the program is all about, a warm-up protocol, addressing any concerns that you might have, especially since a lot of people might have some concern on such a high frequency for total body. He addresses all of that, and of course including references at the end. So all that stuff that he has included in his previous programs, he included in this one. So I'm not really going to explain or go into detail about a lot of that. I have in the past, and if you want to, you can check out this review I did on one of his previous programs. So I'll just go ahead and jump into the program itself. So now, like I said, I chose the 5-day-a-week total body option. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, wow, 5 days a week for total body, that is a lot. And in some ways, yeah, I suppose it can, but it all depends on how you program it, how you make the structure. And Jeff actually does a really good job with this. He follows what the actual research and science says for doing this. And I think a lot of it is also based off of what Dr. Eric Helms has made his program on and what he's talked about there. So the way the program works is that it's an 8-week-long program with 2 blocks. Each block is 4 weeks long. The only difference between the two really is the total volume and intensity. The exercises are exactly the same between both blocks, which means it's following proper periodization, which I really like, unlike the previous programs that I've reviewed, where the volume and exercises kind of went all over the place like a roller coaster. Now this one follows actual progressive overload. So like I said, the only difference really is that in block 1, you're starting off with an overall total volume and intensity, and the intensity is based off of the RPE, or rate of perceived exertion, for most of the exercises, except for the first exercise on most of those days. I'll get into that a little bit on why. And for those who may not know, RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. It's a scale of 1 to 10, basically determining how hard an exercise is, so you know how much weight to use for that particular exercise. So 1 is you're laying on your couch watching Netflix, eating a bag of chips. 10 is you feel like you're about to die and you're going to end up in the hospital. So Jeff provides for each exercise, again, what RPE he's expecting you to use for. Now, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, most of the first exercises on the days is actually based off a percentage of your 1RM, your 1 rep max. The reason is because the way he has it structured and the way he makes this actually safe and effective is that each day has a particular emphasis on a muscle group. So 2 of the days are actually lower body emphasis. 1 of them is chest, 1 is back, and 1 is delts. So for each of those days that is specific emphasis, he starts the day off with a particular compound exercise and base that, again, off a percentage of your 1RM. So if it's a lower body day emphasis, you would start with a back squat, and he might have you starting with 80% of your 1RM or something like that. And then after that, the other exercises would be more isolation type movements, and those are based off of the RPE, and that's what he's looking for. So again, this is how he gets around being 5 days a week and making it actually safe. You're not doing a full-on high intensity or full emphasis on every single body part every day. No, you're taking a particular body part on that particular day and emphasizing for that while doing more isolation type movements for everything else, and then you switch to something else on another day. So I love that this is the way that he does it. Again, it's fully backed up by the current research on it. He provides the references to all this stuff. So, you know, again, like I said, this review is actually relatively short. That's pretty much my review. It's a great program. The way he has it structured is perfectly sound and logical and safe, and all the stuff that he's included, all the detail in his programming is the same thing as with the previous programs that I reviewed. It's all really great stuff. The only two things I have for feedback are the exact same things I've had with the other two programs I've reviewed, which is the exercise substitution list, while it's great, should have a little blurb explaining how and when to make those substitutions, and again, specifically the deadlift exercise. I will substitute out a trap bar deadlift for that instead of the regular deadlift, just because I think it's overall a little bit safer while being just as effective. There is one other thing here that I do want to mention. It's not so much a feedback or anything. While the program is 8 weeks long, and he actually mentions that you can take a deload after that 8th week and then test your 1RM max in that kind of 10th week after that. What I would recommend you also do, though, is after week 4, add in a deload week there. Jeff doesn't really mention that there. He just mentions taking a deload week after week 8 if you wanted to, but I, again, personally would recommend taking it after week 4, just to give your body a little bit of a break and to ensure you're not doing too much of an intensity or too much of overuse or anything like that, just to, again, aid in your recovery. You're not going to lose anything during that week. It'll give your body the recovery that it needs. So that's just my other thing that I wanted to mention here. But other than that, really like the program. My final score for it is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. Again, like I said, the only really feedback I have for it is that explanation for exercise substitutions and subbing out the deadlift with the trap bar deadlift. Other than that, everything else is really great. It's going to be effective and safe, and I definitely would recommend you give this one a try. Alright guys, that is my review for Jeff Nippard's high frequency total body program, the 5 times a week option. Definitely give it a try. I'll link to it down below. If there's another specific program you want me to review, let me know down below. And of course, if you haven't subscribed already, do that by hitting that button right there. I would really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys, as always, next week.